What's up, everybody? I'm Combat Craig, and today we're going to be talking about the easiest VA claims to win based on data from the VA. Here's a list of the top 10 easiest VA claims to win for VA disability. And this is, like I said, data from the VA. Every year, the Veterans Benefits Administration reports to Congress about the benefits and compensation that veterans claimed and received from the year before. So this is where this data is coming from. It is the raw data. So I'm going to show you some of the most common claims, some of the easiest VA claims to win, and we're going to have a little chit chat and got a fun show for us today. But you know, really what this comes down to is the easiest VA claim to win is the one that you're able to prove using medical evidence. I mean, that is the bottom line here. You need to understand what that means. Checking my audio here, sorry. You need to understand what service connection means and how your disability was caused or made worse by your active duty service. You know, is it a direct service connection, secondary service connection, presumptive? Was it a pre-existing condition before you went into service? You need to understand the different levels of service connection. So when you file your VA disability claim, you understand how you're trying to service connect it. VA law is the lowest standard in our court system that I'm aware of. If you guys know of one that's lower, let me know. But VA uses phrases and things like at least as likely as not. It's a 50-50 chance. This disability is at least as likely as not related to the active duty service. Now let's go to a different kind of standard, you know, like a criminal trial, you know, is due to the glove fits. We got DNA evidence. We have fingerprints, you know, we got the car, we got the weapon, all that kind of stuff. And then you have a jury of 12 that, you know, have to rule, right? So that's one. I definitely wouldn't recommend going that alone. Divorce court is another one. You know, you need to have an attorney in divorce court. But with your VA claim, you can't have an attorney up front. You can get one if you enter the appeals process. But literally, the standard is so low and the consequences, as they are frustrating, you can, you know, educate yourself to the best of your ability, file a claim, completely lose it, decide, you know what, I'm not going to appeal this because my claim has no merits. And that might be where you're at right now. And you can file a new claim using the lessons that you learned from your mistakes. So pretty cool standard there. And let's get into the look at Clyde. Clyde's not even sitting in front of his camera. Clyde, get on your bed. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break and get Clyde on his camera. Sorry, guys. Come here. If you're gonna eat Menties, get on your bed. Clyde cam only works if you're sitting on it, bud. Got to have the Clyde cam going. How's everybody doing tonight? Couple housekeeping things before I start. If you are new to this stream and to my channel, please type new in the comments. Like to meet new people and welcome you in. And we have a good, thriving community here. And everybody else would like to welcome you as well. And then if you have a question, if you could type the word Q in front of it, it'll help me identify that you're asking me a question versus going back and forth with all my awesome moderators and supporters in the comments section. So let's hop into this screen share here and start off with the list of top 10 most common VA disability claims. I'm going to go list them off and we'll talk about them a little bit. And again, keep the questions coming. And I'll get to them. I'm going to do little question intermissions. So most common, tinnitus, hearing loss, PTSD, scars, limitation of flexion of the knee, lumbosacral or cervical strain, paralysis of the sciatic nerve, sciatica, limitation of range of motion of the ankle, migraines, degenerative arthritis of the spine. So let's kind of walk through these things. And tinnitus is the number one easiest VA disability to win. And this may be the route that you're going down to start off, which is fine. You may be already service connected for it. You may have tried to file a claim for it and didn't get service connected. So we could talk about that a little bit too. But the tinnitus has one rating. It's 10% or nothing. There's nothing higher or lower. It's considered a low value claim because it's capped out at 10%. But you can hook secondary service connections onto tinnitus and turn your 10% tinnitus claim into a 100% disability rating, depending on how severe the secondary conditions affect you. People most at risk, makes sense, right? Musicians, elderly, military personnel. And let me hop over here. This is a good top to hop over to this list. Let's see. So I don't know what year this came out, and you may or may not know this if you're filing a tinnitus claim, but it's definitely relevant. So they have this duty MOS noise exposure list that they came out with. And basically there's, moderate and low. You need to explain your tinnitus. And then what is it? Oops. Highly probable. Yeah, so highly probable. It's going to be a little bit easier, but I'm going to show you some MOSs. Obviously, this is Army talk. Highly probable means when you're writing your personal statement and explaining how your tinnitus started on active duty, when this explosion happened or whatever happened, you're going to have a little bit easier time if you're on the highly probable list. But I will also say if you worked in an office while you're on active duty the whole time, that's not to say that you didn't go out and get exposed to tinnitus. Remember, they paid us a whopping $70 a week. So the entire time you're on active duty service, anything that happened, if you busted your leg playing basketball or busted your foot skateboarding or car accident or, everything that happened would be considered service connected. So let's go through some of these things. Again, highly probable. This list should be pretty easy I'm not going to go through every single one of these things. Infantrymen, people shooting guns a lot and explosions and stuff like that. Highly probable. Diver, I'm not sure why it's low. Maybe because you're underwater, although I'm sure there's loud stuff that happens underwater too. Firefighter, highly probable. Technical engineer, not so much. Carpentry and masonry specialist, highly probable. So it's not, I'm showing you this list because you think, combat and super loud, like field artillery. Yes, that is in there. But, carpentry, being a cop, firefighter, fire support specialist, there's a lot of things on here that fall under this highly probable category. And not sure how long. Aircraft electrician, guess that makes sense because it's anything that has to do with aircraft stuff. Helicopters, special forces, Army crewmen. I'm getting stuck reading these things. Concrete and asphalt equipment operator, that might be one, an MOS that you did. And, you're around big, heavy machinery and stuff like that. You might not think of that, if you're like trying to compare yourself. And don't compare yourself is another point. You're a veteran. Somebody else is totally different. Their claims are different. Your situations are different. How your disability affects you is unique to you. And no two people are alike. So it doesn't matter what your job is. I just wanted to kind of show you this list. And I will put, looks like it's, so military police. That's what I was. And military police, just to kind of, I'm on this moderate list, not highly probable. But in my personal statement, I explained how I was on the flight line in Panama in 1989 and on the flight line at Incirlik Air Base in Turkey during Desert Storm. And they're inside of these MOSs, the VA sees a lot of these claims and they make notes and stuff and they come up with lists. In my case, the cops didn't get hearing protection. So we're sitting on an active flight line, like in foxholes during Desert Storm with no hearing protection. I don't know what we were doing, if we used it or not, but just an example, right? So just want to pop over to this list a little bit. Let me scroll back over to the main thing. So that was what I wanted to kind of say about tinnitus. Check out the MOS list. And just because you don't think your job or your MOS, was like field artillery, that doesn't necessarily mean that the VA doesn't look at it as something that's highly probable or moderate. And then if you are moderate to low, you just have to explain where it came from. And if you're not even on the list at all, like I said, pencil pusher or something like that, you may be pushing pencils out on the flight line for some reason, or something totally, some freak thing happened to you. So tinnitus is a subjective claim. It's something that only you can hear. Objective means there's objective medical evidence testing or backing up your claim. So if you say you have a broken leg and you have an x-ray, that would be objective medical evidence. If that broken leg has other problems, an MRI would reveal the tendon, damage and ligament damage and stuff. That would be objective. But tinnitus isn't like that. It's different for everybody. Ringing, hissing, buzzing, humming, all sorts of ways that I've heard it described. And one thing that's consistent is it's just always there and it drives you nuts. So we're going to do a little Clyde break real quick. I'm going to feed him a minty. Before I do that, let me hop back over to me here. Couple things. There's a little super chat button at the bottom of the chats. Click the super chat thing and I will see your question a lot easier. The second best thing, please continue to hit the cues. And again, if you're new, introduce yourself and sorry, I'm reading my notes. So what branch of the service were you in? Let's get this conversation going. So I'll start it off in the comments here. And the years, USAF, 88 to 91. When were you in? Throw that in here, and I'm going to turn on the Clyde cam real quick, and I'll be right back. Good boy. Doesn't look like I have it all the way in here. I'm going to take a quick little break here, and these comments come flying through. Looks like we have 74 people on. Pretty good start. How's my audio doing? How's my background and all that kind of stuff doing? I see what I can see, and I like to always show you guys what I can see. So this is what I can see. I see my stream, and I see all the comments flying in over on the right side, and I'm looking at my audio levels and all that kind of stuff. So I may miss stuff. That's why, putting question down and super chat down and all that kind of stuff helps. But let me get to a couple questions and a couple statements. What's up, Tom? Jarhead Perspective. Yes. Thanks, Terry. Everyone, please like, subscribe, and share. I built this channel to educate veterans. I'll go into my story a little bit later, but the bottom line is I finally figured it out with medical evidence, and I started this channel, and it's been growing I think it was April of last year, and it's been growing ever since. So subscribe, share, tell a friend, engage. Make sure when you do subscribe, there's a little notification bell. I don't know if my little animation will show it. But when you go to the subscribe button, I guess it's not an animation, click subscribe, and then there's a little notification bell next to it. And make sure when you click on the notification bell, you select all, so you get the notifications when I'm going live or posting a new video or, something like that. Okay, yep. Jarhead Perspective was using the super chat the other night. I'm gonna try to fix this thing a little bit. I don't know if you guys can read that text. What's up, Outdoor Andy? I'm gonna make this text a little bigger. There we go. No, that didn't work out. So, you don't mess with this stuff in the middle, because this happens when you're live. You kind of screw it up. So let me, sorry. Let me, okay, save. All right, that's gonna have to do. Okay, Outdoor Andy. That looks a little more legible. Hopefully it is for you guys as well. Okay, going through. What's up, Terry? I believe Terry showed up with a new avatar. That would be the little U.S. Air Force fire protection. And you're on the high probability list, Terry. FYI. Let's see who else is new. Bad Yeti, what up, y'all? Who in the heck? Hecko? Hello? Oh, I thought I saw somebody say new. Maybe keep going through. Sorry. Okay, so you're new. What's up, Combat Craig? Thanks for the education. Started my claim in May this year. Just finished all your C&P exams, hoping for a favorable outcome. We're all hoping for a favorable outcome, and I'm hoping that you show up next time with an avatar, not a purple head. Class is in session. Uh-oh. Now I have to scroll down and throw this up, because these all take precedent. This is what a super chat looks like. It's pinned to the top. Thanks for the $4.99 super chat. That will earn Clyde a little greenie, which I think he will like. And we're going to throw that over now. You got a super chat, Clyde. There you go. Claims Jedi Master hooked it up. Scrolling back up, seeing where I left off a little bit here. Wow, this chat's just going off. Okay, I'm going to go back to number 2 here. Then I'll go back to the chat. So keep them coming. We'll get to you. The second most common is hearing loss. It is also easy, but it's low value. 0% is the most common hearing loss rating. And I get it. You have hearing loss. They might have picked up hearing loss in your test for tinnitus because they send you to an audiologist. You're just stuck at 0%. You're not going to increase it. You're not going to get to 100. unless your ears are sawed off your head, like that bad. But you can file secondary service connection claims onto hearing loss. You know, what does your lack of ability to hear, or the fact that you're 22 years old and you have to wear hearing aids for the rest of your life, what's that do on your mental health? You know, does it cause you migraines and stuff like that? So hearing loss is the second most common. It's just kind of tied in with the tinnitus stuff. And they will send you into a booth. You'll get a bunch of beepings, and it's based on decibels and stuff like that. But like I said, unless you're 100% deaf, they're going to throw hearing aids in. And I'm not saying the hearing aids are bad. My understanding is they actually use quality hearing aids. And I have people in this chat right now that do have hearing aids. But you know, it just kind of sucks. I think that you would have to wear hearing aids. I just kind of think of my mom. You know, she got them in her 70s. That seems like you know, you get older, hearing loss. It just seems you know, I don't really like that. You know, you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and that's the solution, and you don't get any compensation. But whether I like it or whether you like it, you just need to understand how to play the game, so you can lob in these easy disability claims to win, and don't get stuck on hearing loss. Go with something else, and we're going to go through some of those. Hopefully I'm not scrolling too fast. There's that duty MOS noise exposure thing that I was talking about. PTSD is actually the third most. Look at that. That matches my red shirt pretty good. PTSD is basically what's happening here. PTSD is not more popular. It is veterans are talking about it more. And I am definitely one of them because I have combat PTSD and a bunch of mental health things. And I actually finally decided to start talking about my stuff, and I'm talking about it with you guys. So this is why this data shows PTSD is the number third most common VA disability claim in fiscal year 2018 and 2019. Mental health is on the rise. It's more accepted. It definitely wasn't accepted 20 years ago. I mean, PTSD, I think that became a thing in 1980. And then talking about your problems is just not really, you know, much of a thing, especially if you're in the military and stuff like that. So it's you have to talk about your problems, but people are doing it, and they're providing stressor statements, and they're putting together PTSD claims. Military sexual trauma, that's one that's even worse. Very little evidence. You were, you know, attacked and sexually assaulted. Something you've been dragging around for a long time. Happens to men and women, way more men than you would think. I've talked to some. So, you know, this isn't something that, you know, it's embarrassing. It's tough to talk about. It's going to make you cry and all that kind of stuff. But you have to talk about it. And this is what veterans are doing. And I encourage you to talk about your mental health problems, because you have to get real with them on your own, and then tell them to somebody, whatever, brother, sister, husband, wife, kid. Then you have to go to a psychologist and tell them. And then ultimately, you're going to get in front of a C&P examiner who's going to be giving you a rating for it. And you definitely need to have a story when you talk to him. Just saw another super chat pop up here. Oh, Claims Jedi Masters chucking them out tonight. Tell them I'm your genius buddy. He is. Wow. $9.99. He's going big. I'm not going to have to get topless out here, am I? Wow, $15 in like 25 minutes. Yeah, so Claims Jedi Master is a friend of mine. Very smart with this stuff. And ask him questions. I would agree with he is my genius buddy, LOL. And Clyde gets another greenie. Wonder if I could zoom in on them. What do you think, boy? There we go. All right, unlock that. Back to me. Okay, so we covered PTSD a little bit. Let me we'll take a couple more questions, and I wanted to show you a couple things. We're talking about, understanding your disability, how it relates to your active duty service. And you need to understand what the VSO is doing on your behalf, what the lawyer is doing on your behalf, any consulting company that's doing on your behalf. You need to understand because this is your claim. You have to live with the results, and nobody cares about your claim like you do. So it's understandable. Some of this stuff is harder to understand than other things, but the concepts of you need medical evidence, what kind of medical evidence is considered good medical evidence. I don't think that stuff's that hard to understand. I'm not particularly a genius like Claims Jedi Master is here, but I wanted to kind of show you a couple things that I do that to help me understand this stuff. So the first thing, I have foot. I don't know if you can see that. I have foot problems. So I have broken toes on these two right here, and that's called metatarsalgia. That was the initial diagnosis. And I don't have it off the top of my head, but I believe it's the arthritis and the pain after you bust your feet. And then I also have flat feet, right? So like I went and bought this thing on Amazon, like, oh, okay, that's flat arches. Like, I mean, I could have figured that out on my own. Plantar fasciitis, I didn't really understood it because I have it up here, and most people describe plantar fasciitis on their heel. But like this whole band is the plantar fascia tissue. So I went out and got this thing and I named them Hoppy and Stumpy. I know you can't really see it too well. And like I grabbed this thing, like, do you have feet problems? Like, okay, that digit, this tissue. Okay, the ankle ligaments wrap around here, whatever your diagnosis is, it was helpful for me to get a prop like this where I could like grab onto it and understand, what the different body parts are. Another thing that I got is called a goniometer. This is something the CNP examiner will be using on you to measure your range of motion. If you're having if you have an orthopedic condition, like your neck or whatever. And I always hold this backwards, but basically you're supposed to move forward. They're supposed to, get a reading, and whatever the degrees are, there's different rating criteria for degrees. So this was like $6.95 on Amazon, and I was like, oh, okay, so you're not doing a scientific test on yourself, but at least you can understand like, oh, okay, 15's here and 30's there. It just helped me. I do understand the difference between 50, 30, and 60 and 90 and all that stuff, but seeing it and trying to measure it up against my body part was good. So, some kind of prop would be a good idea. Goniometers, good to look at. And by the way, if you go to a CNP exam, they should be using this on you. If a doctor is eyeballing you and taking accurate range of motion measurements, and he's not doing this and he's eyeballing you, he's doing it wrong. I would immediately be thinking inadequate CNP exam. And also, more updating news, QTC is one of the CNP providers, and they are now having you sign something when you go in for an orthopedic exam saying, hey, we're going to use a goniometer on you. So I think that's great. They're not just eyeballing you. I don't know if they're using the goniometer right or they're writing it down right, but at least they're saying we're going to use it. And then the last thing that I have that I just want to show you was your VA claims, your C file comes on a little CD and looks like that. Took me 6 months, probably take you about a year. This is the medical evidence they're using against you, folks. If you're filing a claim, over and over and over again, it gets denied and you don't know, and you haven't even looked at the medical evidence against you, you need to get your claims file so you can see it. And with that, let me just pop in. I just have this little video kind of preloaded up about the form that you need to fill out. So this might be a good spot to put that in. Expired. Sometimes they won't look at it. So standard info here, right? Your name, your social, your VA file number, if applicable. That is also your social. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's your social. Sometimes they put a C in front of it or some other letter, but basically your VA file number is still your social. Current mailing address, telephone number, email address, request for information on a person other than yourself. So this is somebody, if this is somebody that is like a spouse or somebody that's working on your behalf, like an advocate or something like that. And then you get down here, and then these are all the different things that you can request, but we are going for the claims file, the VAC file. You know, send my entire C file. Like, you don't even need to put remarks. If you just check that, you send it to them, you make sure they... So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show you the claims file. You don't need it to file a claim, but it's good to know what is in your claims file, and it will help you out. You do it through a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act, and it's just good to see what you're fighting up against. You may think like, well, I've been diagnosed with combat PTSD. They've given me PTSD meds. They've talked a heck of a lot about it. And then you go look for the code, the diagnostic code, and the diagnosis, and you're trying to find it in My Healthy Vet, because you can digitally download that into a PDF. You know, go into your claims file and put PTSD in there and see if you have a diagnosis anywhere in there. That's what I did, and I was missing the diagnosis. That's why I got denied my combat PTSD claim. I'm a combat veteran. That's on my DD 214. My stressors, consistent. I'll never forget my stressor. Obviously, that sticks with you. But I never had the diagnosis. I had a lot of mentions. I think I had like 75 mentions of PTSD, but no diagnosis. So important to get the diagnosis. So I think I'm going to go down. Let's see. See if I can not get stuck in these comments too much. I'm going to try to make them a little bigger. Okay, let's see. Looking for new people and questions. Going up from the top here. Okay. Robert Douglas, 40 to 100 this month. Awesome. Travis was your veteran coach. He is the man. I agree. Yep, you're still waiting on your decision letter. And I know I've said this to you a few times, probably, Bad Yeti, but once you file your claim, that's it. It's off. You probably have maybe a week if you want to change something, like oops. Don't do the oops. But if you're like, okay, I filed a claim and I think it sucks, and you're a month in and you haven't gotten your CNP exam, or you're in month 5, there's no changing it. You just have to wait for your decision letter. Very important to load this up and file it properly first out of the gate, so you don't have to sit here and wonder where you're at. Yes. Share, like, subscribe, click notification bells, all that kind of stuff. Thanks for the promo. Yep, we've all done that. Impatient, checking e-benefits too much. It's tough, definitely. Yeah, and I mean, when I say don't check e-benefits and the status of your claim electronically, I mean, if you have mental health problems, I mean, you're filing for a claim, right? It's money. So it's like, am I going to get the money? Did I get the money? So check it, but try to be reasonable about it. I was doing it 5 times a day. It was just it was a disappointment every day, 5 times a day for 5 months. And then I was like, whoa, there's movement. So, temper your expectations, check, but you don't need to check it every day. You don't need to check it 5 times a day. Paul, hit your 100% in August. Awesome. Oh, Terry is turning into my awesome moderator. Thank you. Loving it. Janae is new. You started watching to help your boyfriend. Awesome. He's got a good one with you. Most girlfriends don't step in and try to understand this stuff. Well, I don't know, but I appreciate that you do. So he did his first CNP exam in September, waiting to see what is determined. So yeah, that's basically it. You launched the claim, and now you have to wait for the decision letter, and you'll, either get the compensation you deserve and the rating that you want, or you're like, whoa, I filed a PTSD claim. That guy in the cowboy hat said 70 was average. Why do I have 10? And then you can look at the medical evidence considered, and they might have just not seen something or just blew some stuff altogether. That happens a lot. IBS is irritable bowel syndrome. I have it. Easiest way to describe it is you have constipation and diarrhea. Like it alternates. You have both. It was a lot worse when I was taking Norco painkillers because those things constipate you, and then you have diarrhea as well. So IBS is a nasty one, obviously, literally. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back over to the video so I can talk about what we're supposed to be talking about here. So we were on number 3, and that was PTSD. Lots of PTSD stuff. Scars is number 4. You would think scars is something that would be rated higher as well. It falls under skin conditions, and we get scars. I have a scar right here from my neck surgery. I have a scar right here from my elbow surgery. I have a scar on my foot from foot surgery. And then just scars from being stupid. And I think I have a scar on my finger from playing around with a butterfly knife. So you get these scars, and they're just a low value claim like hearing loss. So you may be like, wow, this is a really gnarly scar. Why is the rating so low for it? They just do not pay very high for scars. Granted, if you have a gigantic scar, it's different. They have measurements and stuff like that. But I would recommend looking into secondary service connection claims to scars. If you have a big scar across your face, you don't feel very attractive, male or female, right? You're probably not. People probably look at you kind of weird. How's that make you feel? That's going to give you some depression at the very least. So if you have a 0% rating for scars, and it's something that, just you're self-conscious about and it shows, I think you should look into a mental health claim. They take lots of pictures of scars. You should, take your own pictures. It's good to get service connected for them, but this is another one. Temper your expectations because they do not pay out very high, and they do not rate them very high. Flexion of the knee. So, here's my little thing, right? When I'm like, all right, what is the difference between flexion and extension? Flexion's one way, extension's the other way. The goniometer is how they're going to measure it, right? So they're going to be measuring your flexion, and the less you can move it, the higher the rating. If it's completely frozen together, the knee has a lot of different components to it, but understanding what you're doing, what kind of, how you're trying to get this thing service connected, how long you've been out, looking at your options, likelihoods. I said that, no two veterans are the same, no two claims are the same, but there still are some commonalities here. And if you're, going after something that just doesn't make any sense, and you're doing research and talking to other people and looking in the law and it doesn't make sense, maybe go after something else and whatever you're going to do, put it on ice. So knee flex, limitation of flexion of the knee is another one that's 0 to 20% quite often. It all has to do with limitation of range of motion. That's the flexion, and that is measured with the goniometer that I just showed. And then pain on motion or painful motion. They use a couple different ways to describe it. You know, this is not when you go in for your C&P exam and you're getting this measurement. This is not time to be the Army Ranger you once were. Once you feel the pain, you just stop. You don't move. Oh, hey, veteran, you could probably move it a little more. You know, do it for me. Don't let the C&P examiner do that. Right when you feel the pain, ow. Like, you know, you got to do a little more. I mean, I guess if you go in there and you're wheelchaired in there and you can't move it at all, then you don't move it at all. But if you walk in there, you got a cane or whatever you got, you know, if you can move it a little, and then pain starts right here. And you know, don't move it any more than that. You don't need to. Secondary conditions are the way that you work on these or all these orthopedic conditions. There's side effects for the painkillers they give you for your knee. They cause you depression and anxiety. All sorts of different secondary connections can happen to your knee. And I just saw your super chat, but I don't want to miss the chat. So until I get a moderator, well, I better throw it up because I said I was going to. Let's see what super chat this is. Anything else, Alex? Not sure which Alex you're referring to. Sorry, Clyde. Yeah. Clyde, where'd you go? Get on your bed. You're supposed to be on your bed. Go on. I can't put the Clyde cam on. You're not on your bed. Come here. Get on your bed. There you go. All right, let's see. More questions. And I'm skipping over comments because I'm going to the bottom and I kind of showed you what's going on here. So let's do a status update. We have 102 people on, 27 likes. Hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Another question for you. What is your current VA disability rating? And I will start off 100% P and T. Let me know where you're at. Get some conversations going. Get to know, you know, if you're new, what branch of the service you are in. Say something. I know these things are weird. I just pop on here. You have no clue who I am and what is all this data stuff sitting in the back and all that. Please ask questions. No questions are stupid questions. This isn't a race. This is all about getting everybody the compensation they deserve. That's the goal. That's my goal anyway. So everybody learns differently, and we need to share. And since we have the internet and YouTube and Facebook communities and stuff like that, I got a down thumb. Perfect. Down thumb up. Down thumbs are good too. So, you know, we help each other out here. Hey, all from Texas. How's it going, Sherry? I remember your avatar. Tom and Jedi Master going back and forth. They said you don't have any medical records. I wouldn't accept that. They do. I don't know what your particular situation is, but you were in the service. Like, do you have your DD 214? I would start there. They say things, and I don't know who they is in this context. But this is kind of, you have to be assertive. You don't want to be a bully. You don't want to cuss at the people on the 800 number. A lot of them are veterans too. It's a bureaucracy. But do not let them push you around. Um, oh, sorry, Zig. We don't have your medical records. Okay, who are you? What's your name? And where are you getting this info? You have this attached to my social security number. You have my social security, my last four, and my last name. Okay, so what are you reading on the screen? It says we have no medical records. Like, is that exactly what it says verbatim? Can you print that to me? Can you mail me that? I guarantee you that's not what's on there. So I don't know what is, I don't know what your situation is, but you need to be assertive regardless of your mental health issues and your challenges. And I know you have plenty of them. You're the only one that's going to be able to put up a good fight for yourself. And you don't need to be combative, but you need to be assertive. And I wouldn't accept no medical records. I mean, you went to MEPS. At the bare minimum, they'll have your MEPS records. Everything's fine, no presumptive conditions. The GOAT is here, Tom Marine Vet. Yeah, Terry, we talked a little bit. I got out in 91. I filed my first one in 2008. So very normal. And we're, somewhere around the same age, 50s. A lot of guys waited a lot longer that are in their 70s. So there's, you are where you are. With the internet, I think a lot of people are getting out and they're learning how to prove their claim, go to the doctor before they get out of the military. So when they walk out, they actually have service connection to establish. But that wasn't the case. You don't get a pamphlet, and I started using this analogy. The VBA, Veterans Benefits Administration, doesn't come out right when you get out. You were deployed overseas, and once you hit U.S. soil, they don't come up and give you a big hug. Hi, call back Craig. Let's go over all your medical conditions so we can give you a rating. That doesn't happen, never will. Scrolling back down because I saw my boy Raymond. What's he got going on? Thanks for watching all the stimulus videos. Yes, thanks for putting them out there. Raymond has a lot of good information on his channel, and that's his avatar. And I'm going to leave it up for a second. And I'm going to go back up and catch another couple questions here. Yeah, these super chats really. Okay, there we are. Okay, zig. There, you guys are talking about medical records. Stephanie is new. Welcome, Stephanie. I don't know if Alex is probably trying to curveball me, so I'm just gonna put that up there for a second, or maybe he's helping somebody else. When there's a lot of words on there, it's hard for me to read them, and I'm like live, so I don't want to get stuck reading too much. Let's see. Jerry, 72 to 76. You have an 80% rating. 70% anxiety, 10 for tinnitus. Yeah. Again, this is another one of those. They say migraines. Tinnitus doesn't cause migraines. Tinnitus causes all sorts of things. Migraines is one of them. There's plenty of medical evidence to support that. And I'm not a doctor or anything like that. But I know there's plenty of evidence to support it. And these comments are way too big. So I'm going to see if I can get in here and edit this thing. Stand by. Make this smaller. There we go. Hopefully, whoops. Hopefully you guys can read these. Okay, look. Okay. All right. Let's see what Clyde's doing. Good boy. Again, where is it? Subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Also, I don't know where my little, oh yeah, I know where it is. So up at the top of my screen here, above my head, If you need help with your VA claim, you can sign up at combatcraigwins.com. I hired VA Claims Insider to help me with my claim, and they got me to 100% permanent and total. So that's who I used. There's lots of ways to do it yourself. Get a VSO, fire a VSO, get a consulting company, get Uncle, Joe Bob to help you. There's lots of different ways to go about this. Do your research, find yourself a racehorse that can get you to where you're trying to go. But combatcraigwins.com, if you're missing medical evidence, sign up there and we can help you out. Cervical strains. Yeah, boy, do I have one of those. Again, neck strains, lumbosacral and cervical strains. It's the back, right? Cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spine. Lots of problems with veterans all over the board. We were all active and young at one point. Some of us did more than others. But, injuries, tears, torn muscles, tendons, stuff like that. Typically 0 to 20%. It's not a big claim. But again, you can look at secondary service connections to attach on here. Neck problems cause migraines. Neck problems cause depression. The pain, the meds that you take for your neck problems cause IBS. The Motrin that you take for your neck problems could cause GERD. So there's lots of secondary connections that you could use. Also, especially with back and feet issues and stuff like that, they could cause you to gain weight, and you may have a diagnosis of sleep apnea. So your sleep apnea might be secondary to a neck or a back problem. Sciatic nerve. This one is number 7 on the list. That's what it looks like. I've got a disc herniation that is 10 millimeters in size at L5S1, and it does exactly this. It shoots, I don't know if my mouse is, it shoots down my leg. It's called radiculopathy, which is another secondary condition, because usually you don't get a rating for radiculopathy unless you actually have a diagnosis for it. So, keep that in mind. That's a good logical secondary connection, but spines, again, falls in this orthopedic conditions. Easy VA claim to win a 0% rating. A lot of these things, that's why they're on here. They're the most common and they're the easiest to win. But I didn't say that they're easiest to win a high VA rating out of. They're a good starting point, or a disappointing starting point. Get over it, figure out how to play their game. We're playing chess, not checkers. So they give you 0% for your spine. You lob a GERD claim at them, and a migraine claim at them, and a mental health claim, and you build your medical evidence so they can't deny you. That's how you play these games with the VA. Before we get on to number 8, I'm going to pop back over to me. You're 0% for scars. Do your scars cause you any other issues? Not sure where they are. Like I said, I have some scar measurements as well. Depending on where they are, you could file secondary service connections for them, and there's a lot more for scars. I don't have them off the top of my head here. You're in the Army. Mental health or top dogs. I'm assuming you mean claim. Go Air Force. Exactly. It's called Aim High. Chair Force. Yep. Jarhead Perspective is a Marine. Didn't hear any Marines complaining during Desert Storm when the Chair Force in the Navy handled that whole entire war. There was no Marine or Army needed after that. Although I'm sure there was some, but I mean, you guys know we pounded them. I do appreciate the chair force. It's good to tease each other about this stuff. Yeah, right. Space Force. We need to get some Space Force veterans. And I haven't seen any Coast Guard veterans in a while either. I don't want to leave. I leave the Coast Guard out a lot, and I also leave out reservists and guard members a lot too. I just kind of think about active duty. Oh yeah, the chow is the best for sure. Wow, that's a good question. How do undiagnosed Gulf War presumptions work? Go look at Gulf War illness. I've actually made a few videos on this recently and talked about it. Basically, something weird is happening to you out of the blue. You didn't have IBS, and then now all of a sudden you went somewhere, and now all of a sudden you have it, and you never had it before. You're a Gulf War veteran, and you're exposed to weird toxins of some sort, breathing it, eating it, smelling it, whatever. That's it in a short nutshell. Again, we can go on, into a big long explanation about undiagnosed Gulf War presumptions, but you need to go to the doctor and get the things diagnosed that you can get diagnosed. And then you might not even have to go down this presumptive undiagnosed route, but it is one to go down. And again, there's lists. There's a burn pit registry, which will do nothing for your claim. It's just reminiscent of Agent Orange, presumptive. And I mean, last year, 45 years later, they are starting to break it off for Blue Water Navy veterans. So as these undiagnosed Gulf War presumptions, illnesses, symptoms, syndromes develop, don't wait for 20 years for this to land in your lap. Go at them another way. Yep, this is a good point. 300%. So I'm at 190%. And a lot of people walk out with 400, 500%. You start running into a special monthly compensation land. But just, kind of my point is VA math, 50 plus 50 doesn't equal 100. Your first rating is your first rating. If you just have 50, that'll be 50. Once you start adding onto it, VA math gets wonky. If you don't understand how to chart it all out, use the VA disability calculator and see what it would be like if you have 50% for one thing, and then you win your second 50% claim for sleep apnea. It would actually end up being 75, which would be rounded up to 80, I believe, if my math is right. But you can check and see, where do you think you should be rated? And you can kind of play around with this. Okay, great. Chances of me getting any rating other than 0 for scars, like that's probably not something I should focus on. I should focus on the valuable claims. Terry's waiting on a claim decision. Terry, my new kick-ass moderator. Yeah, good example, Stephanie. VA doctors, military doctors. Yeah. You had a C-section and they just butchered you. Lots of scar tissue that resulted in a hysterectomy. So hopefully you filed a claim for all that kind of stuff. And I'm sorry you had to experience that. That sounds horrible. These military doctors and VA doctors, once they start cutting on you, it's a problem. Hit the like button, people. Subscribe. See what Clyde's doing over here. Lots of people in here. No, we got a hybrid. 70% Army, 8 years, Air Force, 12 years. Nice. I'd have to check, Stephanie. I definitely wouldn't. John, I see the super chats coming, man. I think this is the second one. I'm sorry. I'll throw you up. Stephanie, I would look. Yes, I think loss of use. I think that's a special monthly compensation K. Um, the scars have other secondaries. Um, ask questions, and maybe somebody else can help Stephanie out with this. There's meat on that bone, for lack of a better term, Stephanie. It's just the way you frame your argument and make it stick. So now I'm going to scroll back down. I saw John throw lots of super chats going. This is a good question. I don't know. I know there is one, and I know it doesn't help you with your claim. Can anybody answer? Where's the Claims Jedi Master? How do you check to see if you're on the burn pit registry? I don't know. They say you need to sign up. Just not sure how you check to see if you're on it. I don't know if it's a searchable database. And then you could call the 800 number. Would be one route you could go. And I saw another question in here, John, I think. Maybe not. Uh-oh. What's Claims Jedi Master have to say? Service connection is the easiest when you see your own doctors and you don't have insurance pay for it. It's an investment for the rest of your life. That's a good point. Out of all the stupid stuff I spend money on, getting a private doctor and paying for a Nexus letter because your doctor either won't do them, doesn't understand how to do them, whatevs. This is something that, you're going to need doctors supporting you, and you might have to pay money to go see them. And yeah, that's exactly how you think about it. It's an investment in your future, and the outcome. In my case, 100% permanent and total. So that's tax-free money till I drop dead. All right, let's hop back over to my thing here. This one is the ankle. Another common one. Lots of jumping and rolling ankles and sprained ankles and stuff. This is the 8th easiest and most common VA claim to win. Again, it's a lot of copy and pasting here. The common ratings, are usually 0, 10, or 20. Makes it a low value claim. You're going to, it all comes down to the limitation of range of motion. That's where the goniometer comes in, and the painful motion. So again, as they're watching you walk or trying to bend your ankle around, do not let them move you past the pain where it hurts. That's where most veterans screw up, because we're just used to suck it up. And maybe the doctor will even be like, hey, can you move it a little? Come on, you could do a little more. You're a tough guy. And that trap happens as well. See what Clyde's doing? Clyde's like, dude, where's my mentees? Hit another couple comments here. Got 116 people, 56 likes, and 1 downvote. Just lost 1 person. Sorry for boring you. Yes, people, and I'm just hopping in. I don't know how long ago you asked this question. Finding example Nexus letters. Somebody in here should be able to help you. You can Google them and see examples, and there's examples of Nexus letters people have used. But it's not so much the example of the Nexus letter, it's what it says. So it's a doctor saying it, that's for sure. They're saying you have a diagnosis because they diagnosed you with something or reaffirmed your diagnosis. They're saying how much the severity, this veteran can't move around much, and he's going to be explaining one of these rating criterias. And then the most most important thing is in my professional medical opinion, it's at least as likely as not this diagnosis and disability is a result of his active duty service on a presumptive, direct, secondary, or pre-existing service connection. So he has to call it out. Aggravated rather than caused by. Yes, that is a good way to frame up a solid sleep apnea claim. You're working the PTSD now. You've been waiting since August. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. The main CNP examiners or contractors, LHI, VES. What's the other one? QTC. I've done QTC and VES. I've never had I had one at the VA. So I'm not really sure. It doesn't really matter who the contractor is. Prepare for the exam, not the examiner. Georgia, Kentucky. I love that avatar, Robert. You could talk with somebody in the chat. If you were going to talk to me about completing CNP exams in Florida, I would say go get your CNP exams. It probably doesn't have much to do with where you're it doesn't have anything to do with where you're located. It's what you said to the doctor. I don't believe there's a pattern with any of the VAs or any of the contractors where one is better or worse than the others. It's how you do. And this is part of that education part. You need to understand what you're filing a claim for. You're not just like going to a VSO, let's just throw everything up against the wall. You're being strategic, tactical, and your CNP exam's the most important day of your life. And that's how you, that's what makes your VA claim easy to win. When you know what you're doing and how to speak about your disabilities. Thanks, Terry. That helps. Yep, radiculopathy if you have back problems. Okay, so you did the at-home sleep test. Not sure. So you probably sent the stuff back. It probably has I went to a sleep study for my sleep apnea, sleep test and diagnosis of sleep apnea and prescription of a CPAP machine. So I know they have these at-home tests as well. Not really sure. Maybe there's an SD card in there and you got to wait for a doctor to diagnose, look at it and give you the diagnosis, tell you what you have. Let's see. You have 60% for loss of use on your left hand and 50% for depression. Can I still try and claim for pain from my hand? Yeah, I mean, you could do a claim for somatic symptom disorder. It's going to get lumped in with your mental health rating of 50%. I would probably I don't know what else you have going on. I don't know if you take medications. If your hand causes any other problems, does loss of use of your left hand cause problems in your right hand or your left, wrist, ankle, elbow? Sorry, not ankle, but, your left arm. Is there a secondary joint you can file in there on your left hand? Or is your right hand overcompensating for your left hand? That would be another good secondary. So I would look at secondaries that you can make stick, but more importantly, it's got to be a hell of a lot more than 50% depressing that you can't use your left hand. That's a high rating for a hand. I've never seen one that high, but I'm kind of new to this as well. Okay, let's see. Florida. Do they usually set up therapy for PTSD before giving you your rating for it? No, they don't set up anything. They will let you just fail. You need to set up the therapy. I don't know if you even have a diagnosis, but you definitely need to get your boyfriend in there and talking to a psychologist. And I personally see a psychiatrist as well. I know a lot of people don't want to take meds. Meds are medical evidence. Take the stupid meds, do the psychology, or see the psychologist. It doesn't matter if it helps. What matters is you're seeking treatment. The VA looks at seeking treatment as, well, if he's trying to get help, he must have a disability. They look at it kind of weird. Get stuck. Okay, going back through. Okay, always to ask. Yeah, we're talking about the Terry. Love it. Thank you. Yeah, Tom knows a lot about, Tom Marine Vet knows a lot about toxic exposure. Yeah, that's a good point. Your primary care doctor at the VHA, the Veterans Health Administration, is your treating doctor. So they're there to treat you. They don't care about your current rating or the fact that you have a claim going or the fact that you're using them to bolster your medical evidence. Just don't even bring it up. They don't care. They're not part of the VBA, so you don't need to talk about your claim or your history. They will just look you up and see if you're over 50% and then give you free health care. If you're underneath that, I know you'll get charged depending on your situation, but you do not need to talk about any of your claims with your primary care person. Two different gigantic companies, the VHA being the biggest healthcare company or whatever probably in the world, definitely in the United States. Unknown. I'm sure you're probably getting this off of e-benefits. What does it mean when a request for exam is no longer needed? That's weird. So did they need one and then now they don't need one? I'm not sure. Another super chat here. I love Claims Jedi Master. He's using super chats to make points and elaborate and expand on what I'm missing on, which is why he's a brain surgeon kind of guy. Use a specialist doctor for whatever diagnosis you get. The M21 dictates what doctors are able to rate you. Yes. You can use a PA, a physician's assistant, nurse practitioner, but go higher. Get somebody with a PhD. Eventually, you might have to go head to head, your doctor versus their doctor. It would be nice if they both had PhDs. And if you have foot problems and yours is a podiatrist and the other guy isn't, it's all about strategy, and you just need to get over the 50% mark. Okay, let's see. A couple more. Let me go back over and check out Clyde. You know what? Let me get Clyde a bone. And I'm going to take an intermission break. I'm going to throw the C file back up for anybody new here. Expired. Sometimes they won't look at it. So standard info here, right? Your name, your social, your VA file number if applicable. That is also your social. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's your social. Sometimes they put a C in front of it or some other letter, but basically your VA file number is still your social. Current mailing address, telephone number, email address, request for information on a person other than yourself. So if this is somebody that is like a spouse or somebody that's working on your behalf, like an advocate or something like that. And then need to have some videos to put in here. So I go take a break. Little more on the claims file. That is the evidence that you're fighting against. And just again, this is for educational and informational purposes. I don't care who you hire or who you get to help you. You need to understand what you are doing because a decision is going to happen. You may get the rating that you want and deserve, and you may not. In either case, it would be nice to know how you won or lost, and especially if you lost, what you're fighting up against. Get your claims file, educate yourself about your disability, educate yourself about the diagnostic codes, the severity of your symptoms. This is something only you can do. You can ask people, and a lot of people ask me, "Hey, give me all the answers." I can give you generalized information, but I am not looking through your 15,000-page claims file from when you got out of Vietnam till right now. So I really have no idea what's been going on with you and how the VA views you. You may have changed your story so much they call you a malingerer or a liar. And if that's the case, then you have a whole nother battle that you're going up against. So you have to learn, you have to learn enough to know how to win, what you need to win, and what you need to appeal, and when you need a lawyer, when you don't, when your VSO is not being helpful, the whatever. If you have a consultant of some sort helping you, or Uncle Joe, you have to know when they're not being helpful, when they're blowing you off or giving you vague answers. But for me, I am going to give you vague answers because I really have no clue. I'm not a doctor or a lawyer, and I cannot combine law and my understanding of my own disabilities and apply them to you. That's why I give general info. A lot of guys in the comments keep asking questions. A lot of guys can give you more than I can because they've been to the BVA and they've actually argued at higher levels, and they're getting, these higher levels of special monthly compensation, and they know how to do all this they know how to, do this stuff, but they're not doctors or lawyers either. And I'm not saying that you need one. You do need a doctor. Hope that makes sense. Next. Okay. Okay. So, major depressive disorder. I have that. I do this. I hop right in the middle of comments, so I don't see any questions. Just Terry, you get 2 hours of sleep every night. Yeah, my sleep is scattered at best. Thanks, Wes. I appreciate you coming on and listening and being part of our community here. Good question. What does it mean by VA is correcting an error? And then I have appeal awaiting for a hearing on other claims. There's about 3 questions in there, and hopefully somebody can answer that for you. I'm not even going to try to take a shot at that. Stuff is happening, and not sure if it's good or bad. I don't think it's good. Okay, don't see any more questions. Just commentary. Easy. Yep. SMC is easy to get if you word it right. It is all about the argument. Absolutely right. Yeah, actually, it's been a week of live chats. I think I'm just going to do live chats. Would you ever get married again? That's personal. Yeah, absolutely. It would be my 3rd one. It's kind of funny. I've finally gotten real after my last divorce, which was a couple years ago. I've actually gotten real about my mental health problems and my isms and the little weird things that I do. Not ready to come up with a permanent solution on all of them, but I'm more aware of why I do the things that I do. So yeah, I'd get married again. Not really looking and not on match.com or actively doing it or anything, but yeah, that'd be nice. Cool people are cool people, right? Hopefully I have somebody that's cool like my ex was cool. Okay, keep them coming. What else? All right, let's go back over. Moving back to the last couple of things here. Migraines is the number 9th easiest VA disability claim to win. It's diagnostic code 8100. Migraines are a high value claim because there's a high likelihood of getting 30% or higher. Migraines and tension headaches are different things, but they get rated similarly. So if you, like, I don't have headaches at all, but you may have headaches and not know that you have them. I know what it would feel like, but a lot of people don't even, you just have pain and problems and like, wow, I just feel my neck pain and I'm hobbling around with my foot pain and my depression has my radar all screwed up. So you very well maybe might have migraines in the mix. So basically, here's the rating for them: 8100. Frequent, completely prostrating is one phrase here, up at the 50% level. And then the second series of 3 words is severe economic inadaptability. So frequently prostrating means it causes you to lay down, dark room, no light, no work, no nothing, shut it all down, and you got to crawl into a dark spot. That happens once or twice a week. And severe economic inadaptability, that means it obviously, if you're doing that and you're doing it for multiple hours or days, you're going to get fired and you're going to have severe problems. The 30% rating is these prostrating attacks happening once a month over the last several months. And when you're talking about a current diagnosis and current symptoms, that's what we're talking about. Occurring on average once a month over the last several months. That's the time frame when you file your claim. So that's 30%. So it's basically, once a week or more, 50. Once a month, 30. Characteristic prostrating attacks averaging 1 in 2 months over the last couple months, 10%. Less frequent attacks, 0. I got my second thumbs down. Perfect. Keep the thumbs down and the thumbs up coming. Well, before we go into the degenerative arthritis of the spine, I'm going to throw it back over to Clyde and see if I can give him a bone because he's probably pretty bummed. You have to eat it here, though. Don't take off. Eat your bone. Eat it. Mm-hmm. Take a couple more questions, scrolling from the bottom up here. Not seeing any cues. You're 100% PNT. Congrats. Yep. Oh, yeah. Also, I forgot, I left that out on the migraines. You need a migraine log. Migraine Buddy is a good way to document it. You can log it in on a piece of paper. But that would be your complaints are, you'll write that in your personal statement. A migraine log would be considered objective medical evidence. A doctor is more objective. But learning the different qualities of evidence you're providing to prove your claim is important. So a migraine log is good. All sorts of logs. When it comes to how much you're, having incapacitating episodes, if you're having any kind of log that you're able to show, hey, my back flares up or it gets blown out, and you're like, yep, Monday, and then 2 weeks ago on Wednesday. If you're documenting this stuff, there's a way to prove this, and then you're going to need a doctor to agree with you for sure. Let's see, a couple more questions. 30% PTSD rating, had mini stroke now, been more depressed due to not being able to do my daily routine, so did not have a good experience with shrinks. Will I need to see one to get increase? Yes. I would go hire a private one. But either way, if you're going to request an increase on a mental health rating like PTSD, 30% FYI is low. You're going to need to be under care. So you could do it through a private doctor if you don't like the VA doctors, or you have private insurance, or you're on Medicare, or whatever the deal is. But you're going to need to document, you're going to need visits, and then you're going to need them to write. And I lost your. You're going to need a doctor to. You don't need. You're already service connected, so you do not need to establish service connection. You don't need a nexus because you're already service connected. You're just documenting the severity of your symptoms. So 30% means it affects your social and your work life a little bit. Can't remember the exact terminology. 50% is like, problems in some areas. 70% is deficiencies in most areas of your social and work life. So go look and see where you're at. And if you have total social and occupational impairment, you're going to need a doctor to weigh in the form of, officially when you file your claim. I don't know much about Tmg Tmj Claims. If you get 100%, you'll get dental coverage. I know that. I'm not sure if the TMJ covers like cavities and stuff. Maybe somebody else can chime in on that. Okay, let's see. Sean, does claiming anxiety cause any problems with future employment opportunities? That's kind of a good topic to talk about a little bit. So, your disability is your disability. It's nobody's business. Your neighbor doesn't need to know about it. Your boss doesn't need to know about it. You're actually protected under the ADA. If you have a wheelchair, you don't have people asking you, do you need it? Why do you have it? Is that going to be a problem? So the ADA protects you and your disabilities, depending on what your job is. But you can have 100% mental health rating. You don't have any problems getting your guns taken away unless you're doing dumb stuff with your guns. You can be be in law enforcement with 100% PTSD rating. Lots and lots of cops are in that situation. It's up to you what you want to disclose to your boss. I mean, they're going to ask you certain questions, but that is an ADA issue, and just be aware that you have rights and what they are exactly. Okay. Yeah, which is kind of my point. Yeah, your VA disabilities have no effect on your civilian occupation. That's another thing I guess I should probably touch on a little bit. Most people think, we're all civilians, right? We're veterans. So most people think, oh, I'm on Social Security disability, and it's either 100% or 0%. The VA doesn't work like that. You can have 100% disability and work a full blown job and make 300 grand a year, or own Amazon, and you'll still get your 3,100 a month. It has no effect on your pay, with one exception. If you're getting TDIU, total disability based on individual unemployability, that's the only time that you would have a work restriction. Perfect. Outdoor Andy, exactly. Good example. Federal employee with 100% P&T. And the concept here is a lot of us have mental health issues or disabilities or whatever, but everybody's got to do something productive. It's good for your mental health to have a job, to feel like a provider as much as you possibly can. The best way to feel like a provider is to actually be one. So one part of that is the disability, but I mean, 3,100 is not like, That's not going to get you very far in most places of the country, maybe other countries in the world. All right, so we're going to wrap this up. I've been blabbering on for an hour and a half. Appreciate all the support. I'd like to give a special shout out to Terry. I love that you've been kind of helping moderate. Jarhead Perspective as well. Claims Jedi Master. Tom Marine Vet. Gun Guy Jeff. I'm missing a few people. Don't want to drag this on too much. John, appreciate the super chat. You're coming up on your education. Keep watching. Joseph is going for round 2. Get that round 2. Sounds like you're working on a good claim. See if I can see anybody else that sticks out. All the new people, welcome. Engage in the comments. Yep, that's about it. We're going to play it out with Clyde, and I will see you guys in the next video.